It's time to talk Tiger football on the flagship station of the Fighting Tigers of LSU, Eagle 98.1, and worldwide on eagle981.com.
Fast and fearless, baby, here we go!
The Tiger Zone, powered by L'Auberge Casino and Hotel Baton Rouge. Get your calls in now at 225-499-9898. The Tiger Zone starts now, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. Here's Charles Annegriff and Gordy Rush.
It is game week for the LSU Tigers to open the 2020 season against Mississippi State, and it finally does feel like game week. Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the Tiger Zone, presented by L'Auberge Casino. I'm Charles Annegriff with Gordy Rush and our team here in the Mercedes-Benz studios. Brittany Rose running the audio, Joe Rod running the video, and we're glad that you're with us, whether you're listening here in Baton Rouge on Eagle 98.1, or you're with us on our YouTube channel, 104.5 ESPN. You can chat with us there. Send us some questions. We're also going to take phone calls at 499-9898. It finally, Gordy, I think, feels like it's here. Every year when we get into August, there's always this great anticipation that builds throughout the month of August. But It was always anticipation built on a known. There was a day they were going to play, and it was going to be guaranteed, and it was going to be full, and everything was going to be right with the world. This anticipation for a season has included so much anxiety about would it actually happen at all. And now that we're here, we've seen 3 weeks of football happen at various levels. We've seen high school football. We've seen non-Power 5 football. We've seen Power 5 football. We've seen NFL football. But it feels like now the season starts because we're seeing SEC football.
What a change from last weekend. No offense to UL Lafayette. I've enjoyed watching the Cajuns play. But even going back to look at Kansas or Oklahoma State or some of the other big conferences, but to actually start with SEC on SEC, heavy on heavy. I didn't get excited about Miami, Louisville last week, but look at this slate of games. Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee, even Alabama, Missouri. This is a step up, no question, in competition.
And for all of the, perceived negatives of, starting football, the one thing that is wonderful here is every game really, really counts. Now, every game counts every year. You can't drop one of those rental wins, but we will from time to time kind of slog through the Utah States of the world or the Northwestern states. God bless our good friend Cade Wazan, but Nickel State wasn't going to exactly stoke the fires. Every one of these things is a Southeastern Conference game. So not only do we get the start of the season, a Southeastern Conference game, an SEC Western Division game, we get an intriguing opponent because of their coach. Mm-hmm. Now, you and I love to pick fun. I mean, we over the years we've had our little favorites where we go Coach Whistle, Bustle Hustle, and all of that. Mike Leach is going to be fun to cover. I don't know what kind of success he's going to have at Mississippi State. My guess is he'll do fairly well, but it's going to take some time to put in the principles that he wants to put in. I think you have to have something a little bit different there. I don't think you can go mano-a-mano against the rest of the SEC West at Mississippi State. I think, every now and then you may get a transcendent player like a Dak Prescott, and that 1 year. But most years you're going to be in sort of the middle of the pack fighting for the chance to spring an upset. Mike Leach gives them an opportunity to be different, to be that pain in the neck, to be that one team that does something that you prepare for in a different way, sort of like the exact opposite of preparing for an option-based team, right?
Right.
So you tell me when you look at Leach's offense, sort of the evolution of it from what he ran at Texas Tech to what he's running at Washington State to what you think he will run here, and then we'll talk about the quarterback.
Well, I think what he's going to run here with the personnel that he has is that obviously big splits. Let's start there. 1.5 yards to 2 splits. He's going to spread the offensive line. You're going to see a whole lot of tempo. KJ Costello reminds me a little bit of Phillip Rivers, a little bit long delivery, but a big guy, big arm. NFL scouts like him. Mm-hmm. They want to see him play a season at full health. He's been banged up throughout his career. And you've got, I think, a back in Kylan Hill that runs really well between the tackles. So I think what you're going to see and what he's traditionally done is he's going to spread the football field. He's got big wide receivers, 6'5", 6'6" out there, and we'll talk about them as we get through the personnel. And I think you can see him use a whole lot of play action. And here's the biggest thing about Leach and what he does so well. He will run tempo. He will run tempo that we have not seen in this league, in my opinion, since Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss. And that's the novelty of you're going to have to turn around and prepare for that. And he's going to force you to play at that tempo. And I'm with you. I think it's a good fit for Mississippi State. And that's why he had moderate success or good success at Texas Tech and Washington State, because they have to do something different. And I think he was effective at both stops.
I want to talk about wide splits because that's kind of been a catchphrase all week. When you talk about Mike Leach's offense, you talk about wide splits.
Yeah.
I would ask, when a lineman gets into a stance that's at wide and he gets set, LSU has some of the quickest off-the-ball people that Mississippi State will see all season. I mean, Alabama, the same thing. But, for instance, Jabril Cox, who we've only seen film on, but I think we can say with a great deal of confidence that this guy is going to be a pro. Or Jacoby Stevens, who we have seen and is going to be a pro. Or Damone Clark, who they gave number 18 this week. What's to stop LSU or anybody from getting in a gap as soon as they get set, and then you're in a gap, and you're shooting up the field, and you've got that quick first step, I mean that lightning fast first step, and you're attacking this offense rather than letting it come to you?
I'm with you, and I think that's $1 million question, Charles, with the Leach coming to the SEC. What did we find out last year when LSU played Oklahoma in the Peach Bowl?
Oh, lots of things, but
Right.
mostly
What we found out with Oklahoma's offense was nobody plays man-to-man, and nobody gets after you like LSU did.
Yeah.
They were not ready. Right. They hadn't seen that. When I looked at Oklahoma on film, I saw a lot of zone. Right, everybody played back. They didn't have the hosses up front, and so the $1 million question: will an offensive line with these sort of splits, and let's call it what it is. This is not 5-star, 4-star talent. It's a notch down in Mississippi State, and they've recruited fair. So Mullen and Moorhead both have. Are they gonna be able to handle the athleticism and the speed of the defensive fronts in the SEC? Because they're coming after you more so than the Pac-12. More so than the Big 12. And that's for me, that's what I look forward to watching in this ballgame.
When you said that, I immediately thought back to a game that we did back in 2005 between LSU and Florida. And Urban Meyer was the hot coach at the time that had come over from Utah and had great success there. And LSU won that day, and they played man-to-man the entire day. And Urban Meyer, great coach, multi-time national champion at multiple schools, came out in the press conference that day and said, they played us man-to-man the whole way. You're really not supposed to be able to do that. No. Okay, so when you said that, I remember that quote, and I'm thinking to myself, Leach he's played against SEC teams before, but with the talent that he's got to run what he's got against this team, against this defensive front, even down a man or two, I'm thinking that LSU is going to attack them more than they would maybe anticipate.
So, Charlie, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Okay, if you're Bo Pelini, they're going to run tempo. What personnel are you going to put on the football field? Because you're not going to get a chance to sub much, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get a penalty or some sort of dead ball. If you had to run your personnel, who's on the field for you?
I'm running my 4 down linemen. Okay. So I'm running Ika and I'm running Logan.
Okay.
And I'm going to run Anthony and I'm going to run. At this point,
we're talking. So you go with your front 4.
Going with those front 4. I'm going to run Jabril Cox and Damone Clark at my linebackers, and I'm going to run nickel. I'm probably going to keep Todd Harris and Mo Hampton in the back. I'm going to play press coverage up at the front with Stingley and probably Flott or Ricks.
It sounds like and O stepped his hand that it sounds like Flott's going to play the nickel.
Okay.
But
for the moment, I almost want Harris back there at the beginning, just to make sure they don't throw the ball over my head right off the jump, and then I can adjust from there. But I want Jacoby Stevens up by the line of scrimmage.
That's the wild card for me. And so what does Bo Pelini do with Jacoby Stevens? 2 years ago, he was LSU's best edge rusher, right? There's talent out there on the edge. Not sure yet. I'm going to disagree with you just with one personnel. I think we're going to see dime.
Okay.
I think we're going to see 3 down linemen, and I think you're going to see Stevens in that whatever role. And that's going to be the fun part, and I think LSU is going to get after them. And I would do that, and this, my 2 cents of this is that obviously it's a new offense. They don't have timing. KJ Costello ran. Actually, Stanford went away from being pro-style fullback and the things that we saw with Christian McCaffrey, they ran a lot out of the shotgun, but he went deep into the count, the play clock. And this is going to be tempo. You have Kylan Hill. I look for a little bit more aggressive approach, but that's going to be the fun part for it. And we're going to find out real quick, in my opinion, whether or not how this offense is going to handle the upper echelon of the SEC.
Now, the flip side of that is I think that Leach has a better running back than he had at either stop, at either Texas Tech or at Washington State. We were going through the list of backs that he had and who was the best back that he had at either Texas Tech or Washington State. The name I came up with was Ricky Williams. Not that Ricky Williams, the other Ricky Williams, Ricky A. Williams, who was there when he got to Texas Tech, and he was about halfway through his career. And Ricky A. Williams ran for almost 4,000 yards in his Texas Tech career, and a lot of that was with Leach as the coach. But Ricky Williams was nowhere close to the back in stature that Kylan Hill is. He wasn't nearly as powerful when you look at, first of all, he was about 20 pounds lighter.
Right.
And about 3 or 4 inches shorter. And I don't think he was a good back, don't get me wrong. Played a little while in the NFL. But Kylan Hill is 210 pounds. He led the SEC in rushing. You're talking about a tough guy. So I think this is probably the best back that Leach has had at his disposal. So how does that change his approach when he's going up against a team like LSU?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of questions in this game. How's Costello going to adapt to the things I talked about, right? Having to go with a quick tempo and not being the most mobile quarterback in the world, and it's a change with him with this offense. And then Hill has mostly been used, whether it was with Mullen or with Moorhead, as a zone read back, right? And when you think about him, he's a little bit more physical, a bigger bruising back than what Leach has typically had at Texas Tech and Washington State. And more importantly, is really going to, I think, have to play into some sort of pass protection. It's got to, because they run 3 and 4 wides, where at Mississippi State you had H-back, you had tight ends, you had misdirection, you had all of this stuff. You're not going to have quite as much, I think, at Washington State. So how does he adapt to it? I don't know.
KJ Costello, the transfer from Stanford. By the way, we got a quarterback that got his undergrad at Stanford and is going to get his graduate degree at Mississippi State. And at LSU, you have a guy that got his undergrad at Harvard and get his graduate degree at LSU.
Do you just leave the Mississippi State part off the resume?
I don't know. There's a graduate degree in there somewhere. You went to Stanford. That ought to be enough to get you a job, but he's going to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
This transfer was born out of a couple of games between Stanford and Washington State that typical Pac-10 fashion, Pac-12 after dark, ran up the scoreboard. Last year, Washington State put up 49 with Costello on the sidelines kind of watching. They lost that game by 15, but he watched the Leach offense and was impressed. The year before that, Washington State beat Stanford in a game that Costello played the entire way, started and went the distance, and Washington State beat them by 3, 41-38. Got out-dueled that night by a quarterback named Gardner Minshew. Maybe you've heard of what he's doing these days in Jacksonville. So this was born out of what KJ Costello has observed from a distance and said, hey, I can do that. Now, we will find out if he's right, but he's not in Starkville for the food or the scenery. He's there because Mike Leach is there. If Joe Moorhead was still there, I think it's safe to say that KJ Costello would be playing quarterback somewhere else.
No, I'm with you. I think that, look, I think the thing about Costello that fits, Stanford was going to be really bad this year. They were bad a year ago, and this was a smart play. And not only that, they're not playing. So I think it makes a whole lot of sense for what's going on. And Leach statistically is going to throw the you-know-what out of the ball. You got nothing to lose to come play in this conference. You're going to be seen on TV. And typically you're probably going to be behind, so you're going to be throwing. You're going to get your opportunity to get some reps in. I think how this fits into the whole puzzle for Mississippi State is going to be the fun part to watch. Much like Alex Grinch, Arnett is the defensive coordinator that he went and got from San Diego State. Guy plays a 335. We'll talk about that more. But he's going to force the issue on defense when we get there. He's going to come get Miles Brennan. They're going to make this a high-scoring game, and we're not going to see the typical opening games against Mississippi State, the 19-7s, right? The 13, whatever it was. And so, I mean, this whole puzzle is going to be a different look. And obviously, it's first time out for Leach. I think LSU is going to benefit from a transition, but I think it's a fun hire for what Mississippi State needs to do.
We're brought to you by L'Auberge Baton Rouge. This is the 8th anniversary this month, and you've got one more Saturday in September, this Saturday, and you can get out after the game because the drawing starts at 8 o'clock. They're celebrating with 800 winners throughout the month of September, so you've got 200 winners left to come up this Saturday. You can earn points every Sunday through Saturday from Sunday morning all the way through Saturday evening. Get more entries into the hopper and win your share of $80,000. It's their 8th anniversary at L'Auberge Casino, Baton Rouge. And, of course, at the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, Monday Night Football, you can enjoy half-off margaritas, draft beer, and nachos. And Thursday nights, for Thursday Night Football, buy a tower of beer and get a tower of beer half off. Tomorrow night's game is Miami and Jacksonville.
Nice.
You need a tower of beer to get through that one. All at L'Auberge Baton Rouge. We're opening up the phone lines. 499-9898 is the number. You can chat with us in the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube, on our YouTube channel if you're watching us there. This is the Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eagle 98.1.
Back on the Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1 for LSU and Mississippi State, 2:30 on Saturday. We'll get going at 9:30 in the morning with Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Going a little back to the future. We're going back to the old format.
Okay.
Me and you and Jordy Collada and just about everybody on pregame to start it at 9:30 on Saturday morning. We'll bring you right up to kickoff. T-Bob and Matt will take over on scoreboard. We got we got the network show as well on Eagle, the scoreboard show on ESPN, and then back on post game with T-Bob Hebert. He'll also be doing a companion show. So we got you covered on all of your bases this weekend. We're brought to you by the LaBerge Baton Rouge Casino at the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill. Is 25% off lunch specials Monday through Thursday. All guests who are active or veteran military or you're over the age of 50 get 25% off their lunch purchase during normal business hours. Let's go to the phone lines. 499-9898 is the number. Let's go to Jeremy in Church Point. Jeremy, welcome into the Tiger Zone.
Hey, guys, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can. Turn your radio down, please. Go ahead.
I thought my radio was off.
Okay. Well, go ahead with your question. Maybe now his phone's off.
A lot of people just like to call, say their name, be recognized. Thanks for having me. It's Jeremy. Thanks, guys. No question. Big fan of the show. Bye-bye.
Okay. Let's try Stefan and Crowley. Stefan, welcome into the show.
Yes, Stefan.
Hey, guys. Good to hear you guys again on the radio.
We think so, too, because at one point it looked like we might not have a season. So, yeah, we're pretty excited to be here as well.
This kind of feels like normal, almost.
Such as it is, for sure. What's going on?
In that spirit, I think nothing brings the people of Louisiana out of the ashes quicker than football, right?
I think this has been a huge shot in the arm, adrenaline, momentum, whatever you want to call it. Good news, an opportunity to. Yeah, I hesitate to use the word normal because it ain't, and I'm not going to say new normal because Gordy doesn't like that, and I don't like it either. But yes, it feels good. How about that? Can I use that word? It feels good.
I think so.
What's your question?
Well, I can tell you that I wrote this one this year based on that feeling. I call it the dog days of Rona.
Dog days of Rona. Okay.
The season is back. This we can't deny. But after all of the turmoil, it feels like a sharp stick to the eye. No tailgates to plan, less fans in the stands. Some Tiger players will play while others sit on their hands. No halftime show, no Tiger golden band. No walk down the hill for our devoted fans. You can blame it on a virus or blame it on a storm. You can even blame it on the government for denying us our norm. But don't fret, Tiger Nation, for our Tigers will hit the field. And despite the complications, their spirit will not yield. Our Tigers will take it to the dogs from Podunk U. The Cowboys will be silent in a spectacle so violent, even Coach Leach won't know what to do. So let's forget about the Rona and Laura's fateful past. Take respite from the turmoil and the tragic aftermath. Lives were lost or ruined, the toll was high as true. But like a phoenix from the ashes will rise dear old LSU. We'll fight for our state and its people that we love. For just a moment refrain from the horrors from above. So fight, you mighty Tigers, for school and for kin, and remind the world around us that Tigers live to fight again.
Thank you, Stefan. I think that's a good one to get us going.
That's beautiful.
For the year. T-Bob was always the last couple of years has been our poem grader. So I'm gonna let you do that.
What's the Game of Thrones that he does? The Tigers.
The Song of Purple and Gold.
Yes,
but,
I mean, can I tell you, T-Bob? For people give him a hard time. T-Bob works his behind off.
There's a creativity meter that's through the roof.
He spends hours on that thing, and so I love what T-Bob does. But maybe we can sneak Stefan in on the.
He's done a good job.
Off the bench OT.
Got us off to a good start. All right, I think we got Jeremy back. I think he got his radio straight. Jeremy, welcome into the Tiger Zone.
Hey guys, I hope y'all can hear me.
We can.
The weather's kind of messed up over here.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to tell y'all, first off, thank you for getting me home so many nights when y'all would do post game. And then now that the varsity's playing instead of the JV, and we have DBU versus the air raid, and those that new defensive line and Bo Pelini's pass rush can help out, those DBs. Gordon could speak more to that. Do y'all expect any, I don't know, excessive number of penalties or poor tackling or, a lot of the sloppy, unenergetic play we've seen so far? And then my other question is, with this unprecedented times, which game day tradition, are y'all going to miss the most? Thanks again, guys, for everything.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Y'all have a good evening.
Appreciate it. That's good questions. Game day tradition. What will you miss the most?
I always go with the L Club and walk down the do the Tiger Walk down Victory Hill. It's always good to see former players because you get different guys that come each week. I like that. I think that would probably be it for me.
There's a certain part of pregame from when the team goes in, they're like their final. They gather around midfield where they're playing Colin Baton Rouge.
Yeah,
and it's probably, I'm going to estimate, about 20 minutes to kick, maybe a little bit more than that, where the team comes up and the stadium is not quite full, but it's getting there. Like everybody's really filing in. And from that time where they're playing Colin Baton Rouge until the band comes out and plays pregame,
right,
there's a real electricity in the air. I know people that tailgate very close to the stadium or did, won't this year, that said, okay, when we hear the opening cue for Colin Baton Rouge, that's when we start walking across the street, and we will usually get into our seats right about the time the band is coming out. That little 12-minute period, that 14-minute period or whatever, is what lets you know. It's like turning on the on switch for LSU football. That's the part that I'll think, man, that's where we knew it was, okay, now it's time.
Yeah, I think everybody has their own little thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be different. I think my biggest concern is going to be tackling.
Yeah, so now we get to the other question,
which is, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm really interested. I'm interested to be in a sporting event and see what it really feels like, because everything that I've watched on television has had piped-in noise.
Yeah.
Premier League soccer. I haven't really watched a whole lot of, baseball or basketball. NFL. And you really can't tell the difference to me, other than maybe if you really listen, you can hear Jamal Adams. It was a little bit more vocal.
Yeah,
right?
you can definitely hear it.
You can hear Jamal and what he's doing. I think being inside the stadium is really going to be interesting, and I think that the second part of that question is I think LSU has the advantage because Ed requires that every day, Coach O, and that he wants noise, he wants energy, and how do you generate that energy when you walk in a stadium that's quiet?
You have to generate it yourself.
Yes.
And he said it a number of times. I am curious about the tackling part. We got, I think, a very vivid picture of what limiting contact in preseason looks like when Navy played BYU.
Yeah.
And got run out of their own stadium, and that never happens to Navy. It doesn't matter who they're playing. That just doesn't happen to them. And they admitted, we didn't tackle because we were scared. We were following the protocols maybe a little bit too closely. We tackled dummies and donuts, and we didn't tackle people. And then when we got in the game, we expected to tackle people, and we didn't. I think a lot of coaches that still had a month to prepare, and LSU's one of them, took note of that. And maybe it was exactly what Ed Orgeron expected, to say, hey, listen, if I would have pulled back on all of the contact, that's what would have happened. He had it right all along. Maybe he looked at that and adjusted his schedule just a little bit. I don't know. But I can tell you that I don't think anybody went with less contact after they watched Navy that night.
No.
So the balance is you've had essentially a double camp, maybe double and a half. How much contact is too much contact over that? We used to talk about that in a regular camp.
Right.
When do you pull back? 10 days, right? 10 days before the opening, you start to pull back the range. You have that last situational scrimmage the Wednesday before the Saturday. You pull back. You let them get their legs underneath them. What do you do for a double camp? What if you lost your legs somewhere in the middle? When do you pull back, and when do you push ahead?
Well, I think I can speak for LSU. Let's talk about LSU. And being out there enough, they took weekends off. Coach Orgeron, and Jack Marucci, and Tommy Moffitt, they've always had a great plan. And one thing that he's done a great job of in fall camp, I think especially after that first camp, if you recall, they went physical. Geis got hurt.
Yeah.
That was his first year. Geis was hurt, and Darrell Williams was a little banged up. They've done a good job of spacing this out, and I think having fresh legs, right? That combined with the fact that the scholarship level limit is where, the numbers are where they are, I think you got to be somewhat careful. That being said, how are the kids going to react right off the bat? And you're playing Mississippi State and you don't get the warm-up game against Texas San Antonio, and you have one of the best backs in the SEC. I don't know. I don't have the question for that. But I tell you, they managed this, the length of this camp. So they managed the camp so much better than, I'm not here to knock Les, right? The Les would go long and he would hit. And I like the way that O handles it.
The other thing is the mental part of it. Ogeron talked about this last week. He says, we've done the Mississippi State install 5 times. Now, you were a player. Hester has told me this. Dixon has told me this. And okay, you get the install the first time. I got it. Because if I don't have it then, I'm not really doing my job. So you do the install, I've got it. If you go back and you do that install the second time, for most players, that's like the second year they're doing it. They're doing it for the young players like, I know this already. If you do the same install 5 times in a 12-week period or whatever it was, at some point, your brain starts to, hey, man, I'm bored. Okay. Now I don't expect bored this week, but what I do expect is there to be very few missed assignments, because if they don't know this game plan,
right,
if they don't know this install, it's been repped more than the start of any season in LSU history. So I don't expect that. And I'm hoping that along with that, there's a lack of pre-snap penalties, those things that drive you crazy, having to burn timeouts with the play clock running down. I'm hoping that those things are alleviated with the extra time they've had to prepare.
Yeah, hopefully so. And you, like I said, you had double maybe the amount of team periods that you normally do, and I think for that's a good thing. For me, it comes back. I think the physicality of this, and especially the tackling, is what's going to be new. We know Leach historically hasn't hit where he's been. They do know a whole lot, and obviously I think LSU probably hasn't done as much hitting as he would normally do in a camp. And how did they react having a game of this magnitude right off the bat?
We'll take a break, come back with more of your phone calls, and we'll get into the Bayou Ford chat. We are brought to you by La Berge Baton Rouge, where the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill every Monday night. Enjoy half-off margaritas, draft beers, and nachos. And on Thursday nights, buy 1 Tower beer, get another Tower beer half off. The Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare, for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eagle 98.1.
Back in the Tiger Zone, presented by LaBerge, Baton Rouge, their 8th anniversary this month. You win your share of $80,000, celebrating 8 years with 800 winners on Saturdays in September. So that means one Saturday got 200 winners left. It starts at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. You can earn points Sunday through Saturday, all the way up until the drawing this week. So win your share of $80,000 from LaBerge, Baton Rouge, starting this Saturday at 8 o'clock. Gordy, before we get to the questions in the Bayou Ford chat, Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady versus Steve Ensminger and Scott Linehan. The differences, similarities, the transition. What is your read?
I don't know until we get into game time on what's the breakdown going to be. But similar to Joe Brady, Linehan's going to work out of the press box, what I've seen in the scrimmage. Last year, just a bit of clarity and the best of my understanding and what at least being around it, Steve called the plays. And it was one of those, if you look back to last year, Joe Brady had really never called plays before. So it was kind of this mentorship, and it kind of set him up for some third downs and some passing situations. What you got, Joe, and some of those things. There was a lot of communication up there. But Steve is the one that called the majority of the plays. Obviously, Linehan has called some plays. My guess is they probably approach it the same way they did a year ago, right? And a lot of discussion up there. And third down, you're going to handle third. You're going to have some passing situations, things like that would be my guess. I don't have inside scoop at this point.
Third down in red zone was what Ed said earlier, that Linehan's specialty was going to be that. Not that he was going to call every third down play, or not that he was going to call every play in the red zone, but the practice game plans part of that was going to where he specialized.
Right, and keep in mind LSU's running tempo, like they're getting in the place quick and what have you, and I like both of those. On third down, you've got analysts that are up in the box. You're able to talk to some people, and you can get into some trends on what they're doing and really focus in on third down. And then you're going to go in with a call sheet on red zone into the game. And then you'll make some adjustments as you go based off what you've said. So I like segmenting those things out a little bit.
Things in the red zone should include two. Gilbert.
Two's pretty good. We can do a segment on two.
I understand he's going to be really good.
Coach, I can't wait to we'll talk about it in the defense thing, but we got a lot of people in the huddle. What's we're the 499-9898?
499-9898 is the phone number, but in the Bayou Ford chat.
Let's do it.
Corey wants to know, is B.J. Ojulari going to make a big impact at defensive end, even though he's listed as an outside linebacker? Actually, I've got him listed as a defensive end. on the depth chart that LSU gave out. But they like him as a pass rusher an awful lot.
He's an edge rusher. And, Charlie, I think you look at the first three opponents that LSU plays and Vanderbilt and Missouri, all of them run some sort of spread tempo, and they're going to throw it, they're going to sling it around again. I don't think you get to a normal type of offense or more balanced to week 4 against Florida, where I think LSU is going to play a decent amount of base. You're going to see primarily nickel and dime, I think, these first 3 weeks.
Jeffrey says, Gordy, a few months ago, Coach Ensminger made the comment, get on the Brennan bandwagon. Do you think that Brennan will be better than people are expecting? I don't know what people are expecting. I hope they're not expecting Burrow numbers.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be fair. Nobody in the history of the sport's ever put up Burrow numbers. So if that's what you're expecting, it's probably not realistic. But I know what I'm expecting is a guy that's going to complete somewhere around 60, a little over 60% of his passes, 60 to 65% of his passes.
Yeah.
And is going to average somewhere in the area of 250 to 275 yards a game. Remember that, every game can't be an offensive exploit. They're all SEC games. So there's not going to be that one 500-yard outlier, not 500, but say 425-yard outlier that, can bump up the average. So I'm thinking if Brennan can, I'm just going to throw you some numbers. 63% of his passes, he throws for somewhere around 2,700 yards, and his touchdown-interception ratio is something in the area of 4-1. Maybe somewhere around 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, something along those lines.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and you said, I don't really know what people are expecting.
Yeah.
And I will tell you the first scrimmage that I watched this season, and I had to tell myself after the first couple series, this isn't going to be Joe Burrow. This isn't going to be as fluid an offense. And once I think you accept that and realize you look at that objectively and realize that he does do some things well and that they're gelling together and all the above. And I will tell you from the first scrimmage to second scrimmage, they made a whole lot of progress. And Brennan does some things well, a little bit differently, I think, than Joe does. I think he stretches the field a little bit better. He can throw the back shoulder fade with a lot of juice on it. And then this offense, as we talked about a week ago, I think it's going to go inside out. It's going to be play action. It'll be Gilbert at tight end. It'll be Marshall in the slot, and they'll work it inside out, which are a little bit higher percentage than maybe is out. They were a little bit more outside in with some of the weapons that they had. So I'm intrigued to see what Steve and Linehan put together, and I think Brennan's going to have a good year. Define what good is after you're following number 9 last year.
Yeah, George says so. Burrow's going, and we're going back to the Les Miles Stone Age. No, it's not that offense. What position? This is from George. Also, what position do you guys find most worrisome going into this Saturday? And he asks if defensive end, which I guess is his. Is his call. It's not for me.
You're gonna play nickel or dime, and you're gonna have athletes on the line of scrimmage. They got plenty of them. I'm not worried about that. Right?
If we're gonna take quarterback out of the equation for a moment, then my most worrisome position on Saturday by far is center. Is because they have put an awful lot of faith in Liam Shanahan, and he has not played at this level. Now, he has played at Harvard. He is a bright guy. By all indications, he's had a good camp. But I've got 2 concerns where that is. Number one, he hasn't played at this level, and maybe he'll be great. I hope so. But if he's not, I don't know who the next guy is. See, if those first 2 defensive ends don't pan out, I know who the next 2 guys are.
You could get there with Stevens. You could get there with a lot of different people.
I can get there a lot of ways. I can get corners, okay? If one of the corners isn't as good as they think, or one of the linebackers isn't as good as they think, or even one of the running backs isn't as good, or one of the wide receivers, I got guys.
Yep.
If Shanahan goes out of the game, I don't know who's playing center.
I think it's going to be Charles Johnson, or they're going to kick Hines down and move him at the guard. Charles Turner. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the last time we saw Turner, he couldn't snap the ball. I mean, I'm sorry if that's the one that scares me.
Offensive line would be that's where I thought you were going, and I would say that because they've got to gel together and all the above. And we talked about it last week. I think the offensive line was very good last year. I think Burrow made him even better. There's no question. Burrow even made it better. But we'll get into whatever segment this is with the show. Hey, Gordy, if you're Arnett, the defensive coordinator, what are you coming to do? What are you going to do? It's like, I'm coming to get Brennan. I'm coming after him. I'm going to roll dice. He's played the 3-3-5. He's played Mountain West football, and they've seen every exotic offense imaginable out in that conference and Utah State's, and you go through some of those people. I think he's coming. I'm going to come get Brennan. I want to hit him. I want to see what he does and how he reacts to all of the above. And you remember it was Gary Anderson with Utah State that said after watching the Texas film, I believe, he said, you can't go after Joe Burrow. He's going to make you pay. He's going to see. I want to see if I want to test this offensive line, and I want to get after 15, and that's what I would do.
And I would bring that pressure in the middle for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to test the interior of LSU's offensive line. I just told you about Shanahan. Right. Maybe he'll be great, but we're going to have to see it first. And Chasen Hines has started a couple of games, and he's played a little bit, but he hasn't played a lot. Deculus is a 3-year starter, and Rosenthal, by all indications, has really made the biggest improvement of anybody on that offensive line in this offseason. Yep. So I feel better about the and Ingram's fine at the left guard. Right. But I'm going to bring that pressure in the middle because I'm going to test the inexperience of LSU's interior, and then I want Brennan running. Okay, if I'm going to pressure him, I want him on the move. He's not quite I don't know if he's going to feel the pressure as well as Burrow did. If he's throwing on the run, I'm going to force him to make those throws rather than give him the opportunity to step up in the pocket.
I'm not going to see as many half boots, and I think I'm going to see as much movement and different looks that Burrow did. That's not Brennan. Brennan can move a little bit in the pocket, but he's not the athlete that Burrow was. I'm with you. I think you also come inside because I'm sure that he has an intern listening to the Tiger Zone. Somebody's been doing the homework.
Right.
They know they can pull up the film and see what they're going to get with Gilbert. Right? He's talked about it. Coach O it's no secret. He's talked about Terrence Marshall being in the slot. What that does as a defensive coordinator, not only do I have to worry about who I man up there, if both of my corners are outside, so you're telling me my third corner and perhaps a safety are going to be going against maybe LSU's best two weapons, but I better keep somebody else in the middle of that football field. So I'm with you. I think that there's going up the middle and attacking the center and the guard position, A and the B gap are would probably be high on my list as well too.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. Remind you that our pregame coverage starts on Saturday, Eagle 98.1 game day at 9:30, leading up to the 2:30 kickoff between LSU and Mississippi State. We're brought to you by LeBear's. It's the Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1.
Honda needs some TLC, and Richards Honda is the smart place to get it, with oil changes at just $39. And with so many service bays, you'll be in and out super fast. Schedule your appointment today at richardshonda.com.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor.
Eagle 98.1.
Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1, brought to you by LeBear's Baton Rouge. And I think the only show that uses neck is their bump music.
We can play neck, right?
Yes, we are allowed to play neck. 25% off on all lunches for active or veteran militaries or those 50 years of age or more at the Bon Temps Buffet and the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at LeBear's. The phone lines are open at 499-9898, but we're also taking questions in the Bayou Ford chat. We've got lots of them, so let's get back to them. This one's from Clint. It says, how long before Miles Brennan stops getting questions in regards to Joe Burrow?
I don't think I think it's going to be there all year, and that's my thought, because we're in the second year of this offense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to look different. And let me be clear, because we've had some people in the huddle ask, it's the same offense. The offense has not changed, right? It's obviously they were executing at an incredibly high level, and you had all five weapons that you put out into the pass route at elite levels. And so there's a little bit of a learning curve. You're going to have McMath. You're going to have a freshman potentially in Boutte that's going to start out on the other side. And then you have three new backs, and you're going to have running back by committee. And so I think it's only natural they're not going to execute at that level right off the bat. That being said, they can still be really, really good. And I think Brennan can be really, really good. He's following a Heisman Trophy quarterback in the best, not only best statistical year of the school, maybe of college football of all time.
I think the questions from the media will stop once the season starts. And I say that because it asked and answered, okay? It's a legal term. Asked and answered, Your Honor. Okay, he has answered that question. He's answered it very thoughtfully, very politely. I can't count how many times. Yeah. It seemed like even more, because it's been even more. We had a month more of preseason than we normally do. I think the media will lay off that question once the season starts, because what good does it do if Brennan has a bad game to go into the locker room afterwards and ask him, don't you think Joe Burrow would have done better? Okay, you look foolish if you're in the media doing that. I don't think the media will ask very many more questions once the season starts. The fans, on the other hand, I'm not as sure. And here's what I hope. I expect the legend of Joe Burrow to grow from now until he's no longer with us, okay? And I'll shuffle off this earth long before he will. Because that season that he had doesn't have any comparable to it. It was the best of the best. But it wasn't like he never made a mistake. And I'll give you an example. There was a play in the national championship game that has largely been forgotten. In the third quarter, somewhere in the middle of the field, around the 40-yard line or so, and the game is still close. It's still in doubt. And Burrow threw a ball that was broken on by the Clemson defensive back, and it's a pick six. I mean, it was a bad read. It was a bad throw. He didn't make very many the whole year, but that was one. And the Clemson guy dropped the ball. Okay, so what I hope is that the first time that Miles Brennan throws an interception, or any time he throws an interception or makes a bad read or makes a bad throw, the comment isn't, well, Burrow never would have done that. Like, Burrow never made a mistake. You know, like for the last 60 years, Billy Cannon was never stopped for no gain.
Right.
Okay, it doesn't work like that. You have to allow the young man to make some mistakes. Burrow certainly made some.
Well, he did. He did. And you go back to the first couple weeks of this offense, and obviously, gosh, what was the first game they tore it up? I mean,
Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
They were nearly perfect.
Now, he was perfect that day.
But I mean, you go back to Texas and there was some learning curve.
Yeah.
Some learning pains through that. I think that. Let me give you a memory that's going to stick in my head. Was the third quarter at Alabama, when Burrow went 3 and out and threw 3 incomplete passes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, wow, what does this feel like? And even then, what's going to happen next year whenever, obviously, you assumed Brennan was going to be the quarterback, and LSU fans see that because we didn't see it in the back half of that season. This offense was going at a high caliber. Look, I think that because of the year that it was, and it's the second year of the offense, I think there'll be some questions, and not necessarily by the media and all the above. I think Brennan has all the tools and understanding of this offense to have tremendous success. I do. I'm going back to saying I saw that first scrimmage, and you're like, it reminded me of the Alabama 3-and-out series. Like,
right.
Whoa. We were really spoiled last year.
You can ask him to be good. You can't ask him to be perfect. Carlos asks, can we expect screenplays with the current running backs?
Yeah, I would. And it goes back to what's different, I think, a little bit in this offense, in that not that LSU wasn't incredible in the slot and tight end position last year because they had Jefferson and Moss.
Right.
But you have Gilbert, who's much more of a weapon. And
tight end screen?
Yeah. No, you can do some tight end screens, but I think because of that matchup, that arguably your best weapons are your tight end and your slot receiver in Terrence Marshall, that you already have a mismatch there. That means that they're going to have to give special attention to 2 and 6, and if they do that, you're going to get man coverage with one of these backs, and I like with a linebacker, and I really like that matchup, especially Emory. Right, if you can get Emory in space and give him the chance to out-athlete a linebacker, I love that matchup.
LSU running backs caught 80 balls last year. Edwards-Helaire caught 55 of them. I don't know that anybody's – I would be surprised if any of these backs caught 55 because I don't think any of them will play as many snaps as Edwards-Helaire did a year ago. So do they get to 80 again? Probably not. I would say probably 2/3 of that number is a more realistic, maybe somewhere in the area of 50 to 50. Maybe all of them together catch what Edwards-Helaire did. He was a special talent out there in not only being able to catch the football, but to maintain his balance and to get up the field. I think the guy that probably has the best chance to emulate that is Emory.
No question.
Because he can make you miss better, and I think that he had the LASIK surgery or the eye surgery, so that's going to help him a little bit. He's got the most moves out there, and I think he's probably got the best opportunity to catch a football and really do something with it. But I don't expect 80 balls. Leonard Fournette caught 5 balls last year. If you're wondering how I got to 80, but I would expect a decent number, but I wouldn't expect that many.
No, because it's going to be running back by committee, and I'm with you with that, and I think each one can do a little bit different with that. I just like the matchup, right? Because you had to last year with Chase being such a great vertical threat and being out there at the X or on the line of scrimmage, you really it was scary for a lot of people to play zero and lock up and play man-to-man. Ask Clemson. I mean, Clemson, when they figured out that Clemson was playing zero, they just picked the cornerback apart. And because of that, I think the attention they're in the middle of the field, I just think you're going to get some favorable matchups with the running back.
You did kind of spark my interest about something, though, because you said about the tight ends. A tight end screen is not something that we have seen. Now, they finally threw the ball to tight ends last year,
right?
But we didn't see the tight end screen. You look at Gilbert, this unique talent, And I almost want to go and watch 49er film and see what they do with George Kittle. Because if you've watched them, they will involve him in the screen game. They'll run tunnel screens to him, and they'll get him the ball, and he's just a load. And I suspect that Gilbert will be the same way. That's a wrinkle to the offense that they did not run. They ran some stuff for Moss, but not really in the screen game. Maybe that's the wrinkle that's there.
Maybe, but I think he is such a weapon every time that you put him out there, because he is a mismatch, right, at that height, and he has the ability to bust it. We heard Coach Ogeron talk about it, that he reminds him of Calvin Johnson a little bit with his physique and that. And Charles, the difference with, I think, with Gilbert and, say, Jimmy Graham is that Gilbert can take it to the house. Yeah. And that's what really has jumped out in those scrimmages a little bit. So this offense, which is Peyton's offense, right, the tight end typically, the most part, is always going out in coverage. I think he's just a tremendous weapon in the middle of the football field, especially with Brennan getting the start. It's just, I mean, to have Marshall on one side and Gilbert on the other, that's high percentage passes and your two best weepons.
You understand? I'm just talking about like once.
No, I understand. Right? If you want a tight end screen, right? Well, I wanted the Wildcat for years, and we didn't get it.
Okay, you remember that the play they used to run Charles Scott, the little peekaboo screen in the middle. They run it about once a game, and it almost always worked. Okay,
you want one of those?
Yes, I do. I want something like that to Gilbert that works.
Nice.
499-9898 is the number to call. We are brought to you by LaBerge Baton Rouge, the 8th anniversary. 200 more winners this Saturday to wrap up an 800-winner September. 8 years, 800 winners. The drawing starts at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So after you watch the Tigers in Mississippi State, and, of course, after you listen to the postgame, head on out to LaBerge for the 8th anniversary drawing. This is the Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1.
$11,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Well, the reason why I would recommend him because he's trustworthy. I mean, attention and love and respect of who you are, what you are, and the purpose why you came. He honors that. Once you're with Murphy, you got a friend.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eagle 98.1.
Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1. Brought to you by LeBear's, Baton Rouge Stadium Sports Bar and Grill. Football specials on Monday nights. Half off margaritas, draft beer, and nachos. And on Thursday nights, buy one tower beer, get a tower of beer half off. Back to the phone lines. Greg is in Mississippi. Greg, welcome into the show.
Hey, it's my first time calling you guys this year. So congratulations on the national championship.
That,
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First time calling in this year, guys. Congratulations on that championship. You know, in Mississippi, we got Coach Leach, we got the Lane Train, we got Coach Prime, and if the state auditor will get off his back, we might have Brett Favre of Southern Mississippi. But I want to get with you guys, and since Coach Leach is bringing in this offense, we really hadn't seen this type of pass and attack maybe since Money at Kentucky or Coach Spurrier. What do you think LSU, I guess, are they going to look at video, I guess, at least Washington State to try to get a look at this offense they got? And I always enjoy the Tiger Zone on a Wednesday night when I'm traveling to Southeast. You guys have a great show.
Thank you, John. They said that they looked at Washington State film for sure, and also Stanford film on Costello. So I was asking Hester how difficult it is to look at film of one team for scheme and film of another team for personnel, because they're watching Mississippi State film from last year for personnel,
right?
But they're trying to put them into Washington State's scheme, and then the quarterback is at a whole different place.
I think you're looking at the quarterback and looking at his mechanics and what he did at Stanford, and then I think then you focus on the scheme. I mean, you're not Mississippi State returns 3 of 5 offensive linemen. I think Cole Smith, wasn't he, LSU kid?
He was.
Yeah, and he's going to start at the center position. I think it's more about scheme because they're going to run the wide splits, and we haven't seen this offense in the SEC since Mummy. We hadn't seen this tempo, and I keep going back to this tempo in this league since Hugh Freeze. But Freeze was a little bit more tight, and of course he had more zone read. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of zone read with Costello. It's more of a pistol sort of formation with Leach out there. So I think it's more about the Washington State film and what he's done historically.
And before you scoff at those names, when Ole Miss lost games under Freeze, did they lose them because the offense or the defense wasn't good enough?
Defense.
And when Kentucky lost games under Mummy, did they lose it because the offense or the defense wasn't good enough? I mean, these offenses, there's a long history in the Southeastern Conference at scoffing at something that's different. Oh, that'll never work in this league. And it's not true, okay? It's still football. They did that with Urban Meyer when he got here. That'll never work here. They did it with Steve Spurrier. That'll never work here. And 3 years later, everybody was running the same stuff. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't need some tweaking. For instance, with Meyer, one of the first things he did was he added a second back in the backfield after that first year where Chris Leak was getting beat up a pretty good bit. So I'm not saying that this offense won't need to be tweaked a little bit here and there, and he does have some personnel deficiencies, but they're going to put up yards.
They are going to put up yards, and I think you look at Mississippi State, and who's the most successful coach in Mississippi State in our lifetime?
Dan Mullen.
Right, and so what Dan is about as good as an offensive play caller, right, that in this conference. You got to put him up there. He gets more out of less, and then he was able to go find these 2- and 3-star kids in the Mississippi JUCO ranks that fit his scheme, and he got more out of them than anyone else. And it's rare air that you're going to be able to do that and do some of those things and out physical at times some of your opponents and play elite defense at Mississippi State, which they did 3 years ago under Joe Moorhead, and they still were 7-5 and mediocre in that. So I like the idea of trying to do something different there. What's going to really be different, and I think push the envelope, is this tempo. It's going to force people to prepare differently. It's going to be something that you don't see at that level in this conference, and we'll see what they do defensively, and they're going to try to get you in a high-scoring match.
You get into that kind of tempo, and it's wonderful for your offense, but for your defense, you better have some bodies.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it, and you've got to keep it simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's the magic question that we're going to watch this. And I don't know that we'll get the true answer this year because this is year one of his offense. He doesn't have all the personnel, and obviously you've got all the different things that you have in this COVID season with just 10 games. So I think you get a feel for it. You won't get a true assessment of the effect of the Mike Leach offense till year 2 or year 3.
Yeah, I agree. And even a team like LSU, with the offensive tempo that they ran last year, it caused them to give up some points at times. I mean, we remember the Ole Miss game, right? Yeah. At that point, they were a little bit gassed. I mean, they even gave up 20 points to a pretty bad Arkansas team the next week. Why? Because they scored 110 points in those 2 games combined. I think it was 114 actually it was in those 2 games combined. They can get away with that.
And the other part about it is, let me be fair with you. Who gets up to play Mississippi State? That becomes the whole thing with Arkansas. And if you get this sandwiched in a normal season between an Alabama and an Auburn, just for instance, or whatever it might be, and you've got to go and get up in week number 9 to get excited to play this team. You're beat up. You've been through a season, and they're going to run these plays at this feverish tempo, and you're going to have to try to turn on the switch and adapt. I think that's the challenge, and that's where they get you sometimes. Now, that being said, I can't wait to see the superior athletes in the defensive front 7 in the SEC and how they handle these splits in this offense.
Somebody asked in the Bayou Ford chat about the deep snapper. The deep snapper's name is Quentin Skinner.
Yep.
He is from Snap U High School, the
same
Buford High School in Georgia, which is the same high school that produced both of the Fergusons, Reed and Blake. This is a nice little trivia question. Shay Dixon came up with this one. It says, when's the last time somebody other than a Ferguson snapped the ball at LSU? 2011 championship game. It's been a while. So Skinner is right out of that same training program over there. How many bad snaps did the Ferguson brothers have here?
I think one. Reed had one. I remember one. Was it UAB something?
Maybe.
Look, deeper than that, the past Buford, because I've been doing my research for the Tiger Zone. Chris Rubio is the expert of deep snapping in the United States. Like, he had 90 kids sign scholarships. He does long snapping clicks. I'm looking to bring my son to this. We had him on with Hester once, and if you Google Chris Rubio and look at him, he had Bo Ferguson's, he had Skinner, and so
he's a head coach there.
No. He is who's the quarterback guru out there in California?
George.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right. He's based out of California, I believe, and goes around and has these camps. He is the guru of deep snapping, teaching, and like. JJ, I might get my daughter, see if she can snap, and he'll teach him how to go.
Well, both Fergusons were active for the NFL game last week. So
strong enough.
There was a really nice picture of their family, the parents, the dad, and he had both jerseys framed from their first NFL game. It was really
great
cool.
Great people. I'm so happy. I miss them. I mean, they were just a joy to be around.
Questions out of the Bayou Ford chat about Trey Palmer and Cordell Thomas. You want to take either one first?
Yeah, Thomas he was listed 3rd on the depth chart, if I'm not mistaken.
He's
right?
listed as a co-2 at that right guard with Anthony Bradford. I get the impression that Bradford is somewhat ahead of him.
Right.
It seems like Thomas has not quite caught up from the time he missed with the injury. That you get behind in your true freshman year, your conditioning suffers a little bit for it. You got to stay off of it. Now, he did, to his credit, he came back late in the year. I just think he was behind. He's probably one of the guys that could have most used a spring Yeah. That he could have got back in there and got back on the field and didn't get it. So I get the impression that he started in the fall camp a little bit behind.
Right. Palmer, for me, Palmer's going to play a vital role. I mean, Palmer brings a straightaway speed that I don't think McMath is more of a physical receiver and what have you. And Palmer, I've seen him make some plays in some of these scrimmages. He can stretch the football field. He will contribute this year.
He-Man out of the Bayou Fort chat said, which SEC game are you looking forward to the most, Kentucky, Auburn, or Tennessee, South Carolina?
Probably Auburn. I want to see what they do offensively. Auburn lost a ton on that. I think all of their offensive line, maybe they returned one guy that played a little bit, Whitlow, the tailback, and now we have a new coordinator in Chad Morris. What's he going to do at Bo Nix? I'm more intrigued about that. Auburn's been a team that I've kind of asked the question, why does everybody have them rated so high? Because they lost a lot on defense, they lost on offense. Yeah, they returned Bo Nix, but boy, they lost a ton to the NFL. I just don't see Auburn as the number 2 team in this conference. Plus, Gus Malzahn's still complaining about the schedule.
I do a show daily with the biggest Kentucky fan this side of Ashley Judd this year.
I know. I know.
Hester's all in on Kentucky. So I get my Kentucky feel in the noontime show. I'm going to tell you Tennessee, South Carolina. Every opening game kind of sets the tone for your season, but this one has got a lot of potential because Tennessee finished last season strong. They finished on a roll. They were awful in September, but they were better at the end of the year, and Pruitt needs to continue that momentum. To come out and lose a game to South Carolina, even on the road, would be a real downer. It would be a return to last September. Like, why can't you get your act together for the first game? But for Will, if you lose that game, this is a winnable game for you at home. It's kind of a 50-50 game. Tennessee is better. They're a 3.5-point favorite on the road. So the odds makers think that they, on a neutral field, would be maybe a touchdown better. But it's not like they're an overwhelming. Everybody else is a double-digit favorite in the league this week. Kentucky may not end up there, but they are right now. If you lose that game at home in the opener, and he's changed quarterbacks, Helinski is not going to start now. You've made a bold move, and
kid from Colorado State.
Yeah, right. and it hasn't hit for you. So I think Tennessee, South Carolina is one of those kind of it sets the tone for your entire season if you're one of those two teams.
And
one
I
of
think
those 50-50 games.
Look, I think that's, if you ask most South Carolina fans that they finished third in the East, people I think could live with that. It's the fact that Pruitt went to Tennessee, who had hit rock bottom, and has lifted them above South Carolina and has had the success that he has. So I'm with you. I think this has got as much a storyline in any game in the SEC this week. And for Muschamp, what defines success this year with that schedule? He gets LSU in the cross. He gets Texas A&M in the cross. They weren't given any favors. I'd have to go back and look. I believe they have Auburn as well, too, if I'm not mistaken.
In a normal year, Muschamp is the number 1 coach on the hot seat in the Southeastern Conference. The only thing that keeps me from saying that he is not again this year because of the COVID is because South Carolina may not be willing to buy him out.
Right.
So I would tell you that it's Gus Malzahn because that Auburn money is no object when it comes to firing a coach, COVID or no COVID. But for Will, this is a pivotal year any way you slice it. If he were to win 5 games, I think it buys him another year in this climate. A 5-7 season wouldn't have done it. A 5-5 season against all SEC opponents, I think, buys Will another year. And if he's going to get to 5 wins, he probably needs this one.
Oh, I'm with you. I 100% with that, right? And he's going to. I mean, you look at Tennessee and Kentucky. I think both of those being pivotal games for him. But he does get Auburn. We know he's got South Carolina as Texas A&M as his cross, and LSU this year. So he really got no favors with this schedule.
You've got to beat Vanderbilt. You've got to beat Kentucky. Okay, I mean, I know I'm with Hester to a certain point on Kentucky. I think they're better than most people think. I don't think they're quite as good as he thinks they are. We'll play that game all year.
He must be getting a free trip. He and Katie get to go and do something in bluegrass country, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Missouri, Mississippi.
You got to win that one. You got to beat Ole Miss.
You have to win Kentucky or Tennessee. You've got to beat Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
is the one for me, and then
you're not going to beat Georgia.
You're not going to beat Florida at the Swamp. I'm with you. You're going to. I think to get there, you're going to have to beat Tennessee and Kentucky.
You need this one.
Yeah, you do.
You
need it.
One. Take a break. Come back with more. Brought to you by LaBerge, Baton Rouge, the Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
$11,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Jani-King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Jani-King, the king of clean.
Peyton was awesome the whole time, like so friendly, you know, very quick to just come up, like let me know if there's anything you need, and just really make you feel like you're taken care of and you're kind of part of their little law family.
Eagle 98.1.
Tiger Zone, Eagle 98.1. Brought to you by LeBear's Casino Hotel. Every Monday through Thursday at the Bon Ton Buffet and Stadium Sports Bar and Grill is 25% off of lunch if you are active or veteran military or if you're over the age of 50. 25% off your lunch purchase during normal business hours at the Bon Ton Buffet and the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at LeBear's, Baton Rouge. Mike Leach, first in-week press conference, was asked to describe his offensive philosophy.
It's going to decide where the space is. I think offense, you know, what you're trying to do on offense is create space. On defense, you're trying to restrict space. I think, and I really think that's the simplest way to describe offense and defense. So within that, and we refer to it as leverage and numbers. You know, how many do they have? How many do we have? Are they off? Are they on? And of course, then they're going to try to disguise it and cover it up. And so we try to sort that. But then the other thing is, you know, I try to have plays, a number of plays that have a lot of options. Okay. So like, for example, you know, in this defense, this guy will probably be open. Okay, but in that defense, the other guy will probably be open, and I'm okay with that. And then we just have to get our eyes in the right place and execute. And then, of course, the defensive guy is going to say, well, we're going to transition faster than you can execute. And if that's true, we're in for a long day.
There's a kid in the Mississippi State Sports Information Department that's got to transcribe this every week, has never had to use a period yet.
No.
It's just one big run-on sentence, but I love listening to Leach because he's what you see is what you get, and he's going to give you an unvarnished opinion. But one of the things, so he was talking about space, and he got a little long-winded there, but he's always said, I can install this offense in 3 days. That for all of the different things it looks like we're doing, it's very simple to learn. Why?
Well, because it's 7 plays. And that was the thing I learned, it was at Dana Holgerson and his OC Shannon Dawson. He's over with him, I believe, at Houston right now. He was with him at West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked for a while, went up there in 2011, and they said, look, we run the same 7 plays. Now we can do like 4 or 5 different things out of it, but we run it over and over and over again. It's repetition and it's execution. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions about this offense, that it's 40, it's 50, it's 60 plays. It isn't. It is that. I think what I can't wait to see, and I keep coming back to this, is first off, LSU going to line up and tell you they're coming after you, right? And I expect to see the numbers are all confusing now because Anthony's now 3. And,
you're talking Anthony
Stevens is 7, and everybody's changed numbers. But you're going to see athletes in those gaps coming at you, and there's not going to be any question what Derek Stingley's doing. 24 is going to lock up and play man-to-man. You might get 1 or 2 looks because you're going to be in tempo, and I don't think there's going to be quite as much disguising as what you saw Oregon or Oregon State that was playing some sort of quarters or cover 2 and trying to keep the ball in front of you and maybe jump a route here or there and play a guessing game. LSU and I think Bo Pelini are come get your ass, and they're going to line up and play man-to-man, and that's what I want to see. How's this offense going to work when superior athletes and superior defensive front 7 are going to come after you?
You're going to make plays, but you're going to turn the ball over.
Right.
That's what I'm expecting.
On the flip side is, it's got to be a whole lot of screens. It's going to be pick plays. The ball's got to come out of Costello's hands, and they're going to hope to make somebody miss because they're going to see, I think, a lot of man free and some zero.
You said Anthony changed his number to 3?
He's 3.
He's 46 in my program.
Yeah, well, good change it. He's going to be 3.
He's 3. All right. And Gay is 52.
Yep.
All right. And Logan is 76. And Stevens is 7 now.
Now you confusing me. I know Stevens is 7.
And Clark is 18 now.
Clark is 18.
On that side of the
Curry
ball.
is 18.
Curry's
and 7,
18.
right?
He used to be 24.
Yep.
Stingley's still 24.
Yep.
Curry used to be 24. All right.
Ricks is 1. I think Coach O tipped off that he likes Flott at nickel, and I think that what you talked about. I didn't like Flott at nickel, so you're right. I was wrong, and we'll see. I don't know the extent. I hear that Ward's thing's not major, right? And if Flott is there, then I think they're doing that based out of experience. I've told you, I think playing man out of the nickel can be tougher than playing out on the edge. And I think for an inexperienced or a young player, it's easier to come in and play corner. So is it going to be Jones out there in the corner, or is it going to be Eli Ricks? And so I expect Ricks to play this week.
Well, you said at the top of the
potentially
show,
start. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Right.
You said at the top of the show you think LSU opens in dime because you think Mississippi State opens in 4 wides.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So give me the 6.
So give me Hampton or Harris that's out there, right?
Hampton, Harris, Stevens, Stingley, Flott, Ricks.
Yep.
That's the 6.
Right.
Okay. And who's the next guy? Probably
Jones.
Ray Jones. Yeah.
Ray Jones, I think, plays
Ward,
a little bit.
Jay Ward may not play this week.
Well, I don't know. I believe he was back. I went out there. I don't have a ruling on it, but it wasn't what I don't think it was anything
questionable.
Right.
And then Darren Evans, the Nichols transfer.
I don't know how much how much times he got. And again, if take Darren Evans, right, and if you're going to play him, I'm probably more apt to play him at on the edge at a corner. And there's 1 or 2 things. He's playing quarters or he's playing man, but it's not as sophisticated.
Well, he doesn't have a number on my
I know what his number is.
My little shit. Well, you want
26.
26.
There you go.
You see,
you're learning new stuff all the time with me, Hanny. Stick with me.
Could have taken 46 because Anthony
he switched to 3.
Okay.
By the way, coming up next, it's what is it, Mr. Fantasy, Dr. Fantasy? I love it. It's Playboy Marty.
Dear Mr.
Dear
Fantasy
Mr.
with
Fantasy,
Playboy Marty.
Playboy Marty, and also his sidekick Ben Mintz. I can't wait for that show.
You're in programming. You go back when you could travel. You used to go to all these conferences, do all of these programming concepts, everything. If you had said, if somebody gets up and says, "Listen, we got this show called Dear Mr. Fantasy with Playboy Marty," how many different things do you think about before you get to sports?
Well, there were a lot of different things about it, and especially when it was coming out of Mintz's mouth, because it was coming fast on my couch and what have you. But just seeing an international superstar like Playboy Marty that was going to be on it, YouTube Live coming up 10 o'clock after this show, same YouTube channel.
Every week, these guys are going to give you another hour unvarnished on
What's
on
the name
YouTube.
of the Mr. Dear
Mr. Fantasy.
Dear Mr. Fantasy.
Dear Mr. Fantasy with Playboy Marty.
Playboy Marty's a sex symbol.
We get that on a billboard somewhere. I mean, we got any advertising budget left?
We probably
can
can put him on a Speedo and put him on a billboard. I think we can do that digitally. Wednesdays only.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably an audio ad maybe might be better. This is the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears on Eagle 98.1.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Eagle 98.1.
88.1. Presented by LeBare's Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. Their 8th anniversary this month, the 8th anniversary drawing. 800 winners through the month of September, 200 every Saturday, so there's one Saturday left. 200 more winners this Saturday night starting at 8 o'clock, so you can watch the game, listen to the game, and listen to the post-game, and then head on out to LeBare's and be a part of their $80,000 giveaway in the month of September. 200 more winners this Saturday night. All right, we're going to take a look at what's going on in the league. Hey, Gordy, we used to do this segment. We used to be able to skip over games. We'd just say, oh, well, the South Carolina's playing the Citadel. None of those games this year. So there's one little silver lining to all of this. So we start off with Florida and Ole Miss. We'll see the Lane Train makes his debut, 11 o'clock. Florida's about a 2-touchdown favorite in Oxford.
I think everybody wants to see what he's going to do with that offense. Right, and is he going to adjust? Or are we going to see two quarterbacks play? They have a lot of young, talented weapons, and Kiffin's obviously an innovator. I think I want to see that. And then Grantham on the other side, he lost some really key players on that defense.
Pass rush guys.
He lost Zuniga. He lost
Grenard
that came over from Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the Georgia transfer, and they've got some potential people there. That's going to be a fun matchup to see.
You know what intrigues me about this particular Ole Miss team is that of all of the innovative things that we've seen Lane Kiffin do on offense, this may be the fastest quarterback that he's ever had in Plumlee.
Right.
And keep in mind, he had Jalen Hurts one year at Alabama and turned him into the offensive player of the year. But Hurts, despite what my old partner said, it could throw the ball a little bit too. With a quarterback with this kind of speed, I'm anxious to see what he comes up with because this is different, right?
Yeah, he was erratic throwing the football. I think everybody admits that. And then what Castle was the kid from California, was a 4-star recruit, and he was hurt. And that's what kind of opened the door for Plumlee a little bit, and Plumlee obviously was really successful. So he's got a lot of different things that he can do there. Does he go to Rich Rod's playbook, and do we see that complicated, zone read and misdirection, spread the run you type of stuff? So that's going to be a fun watch.
He is not afraid to try new things.
Not at all.
And in that position, Lane Kiffin, a 2-touchdown dog at home in his home opener where you just don't know what he's going to do, is a little bit dangerous. I'm not bold enough to pick them. Okay, Florida's got better personnel. But I do think it's going to be entertaining.
And can Mullen get back to running the football? That's what he did, remember, 2 years ago with Florida.
Yeah.
And last year was more about the emergence of Trask and Pitts, the big tight end. And obviously he had Van Jefferson and had some weapons out there at wide receiver. Can they get back to being a little bit more physical running the football?
Same time on the SEC Network, better game in my opinion. And I made a mistake earlier. I said it was still a double-digit line. It is not anymore. Auburn is down to a 7.5-point favorite. So Hester's been out to Vegas. He's piled a bunch of money in on Kentucky.
Go Big Blue.
So this started out as a double-digit line. Is down to 7.5. You on the Hester bandwagon here? This is what I hear about Kentucky. Okay, they got everybody back except Bowden. Okay, but he was the guy. He was the
guy that made that run, and I don't know what you look like in that position. I'm less on the Kentucky bandwagon and more on the I'm not sold on the Auburn bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I know that they've recruited well. We all think Kevin Steele is a fantastic defensive coordinator, but he lost those big bodies that kind of made that thing work a little bit and lost an important player at every level on that defense. And then what are they going to look like on offense? What's Chad Morris going to do with Bo Nix? We only saw a small sample of Bo Nix, and of course he had Whitlow, and he had a veteran offensive line. And even with that, they were sporadic at times last year. Show me how Auburn's number 8 in the country, and of course some of it I'm going to go back to. They've got that schedule. Right, they have Georgia in the cross, and they got dealt Tennessee. Didn't they get Tennessee and Florida? And Malzahn was screaming on the SEC calls and whatever's going on. But I have a lot more questions about Auburn, I think, than most people do.
One more thing on Kentucky, I don't, and I got to keep making this point to Hester because he thinks I hate them. I don't. They're clearly better than Vandy, Missouri, South Carolina. So the worst they're going to do is finish 4th, but I can't see them finishing in front of Florida or Georgia.
Do not.
So to me, the whole slack in the rope with Kentucky is, are they going to finish 3rd or are they going to finish 4th? Because if they finish anywhere other than 3rd or 4th, it's going to be a big surprise to me.
Right. And so Yeah, I'm with you with that, unless South Carolina just jumps up and surprises everybody. And I think that's the only chance. Missouri, to me, is such an unknown. And with the schedule they got dealt, I don't think there's any way they get out of sixth place. I'm with you. I think it's a Tennessee-Kentucky fight for number 3 in that side.
All right. Georgia, big favorite this week against Arkansas and on the road. But I ask you, has there been any program in the country that has gone through 3 periods where they thought a certain guy was going to be their quarterback?
No.
First, it was going to be Jamie Newman, and everybody had kind of given Newman the job. And then JT Daniels decided that he was going to transfer, and he was going to be the guy. And he got cleared from an eligibility standpoint, but he didn't get cleared from the injury. And so now DeJuan Mathis is probably going to start on Saturday. This is a top 5 team we're talking about. It's been through 3 quarterbacks since February. I don't know how you feel about that. They're going to win this game, but how do you feel about Georgia and new coordinator with Todd Monken on top of all that?
Well, we know what Monken's going to do. I've seen him the last couple of years. Saw him at Southern Mississippi. Saw him at Tampa. He's going to throw the ball a little bit more, and they're not going to be as run heavy. The problem is that that's where their strength is, in the running back position. So I think there are a lot of questions with Georgia. I like Florida as my preseason favorite in the East. Because of that. And, Arkansas, gosh, I mean, you're starting over there. The cupboard's certainly bare, even though he gets in Felipe Franks. What's that going to look like? I like Georgia. I just like them second in the East.
They win this game, and they win it easily. They're just under a 4-touchdown favorite here. I just want to see what the quarterback looks like.
Yeah,
I want to see what Mathis looks like. If Missouri didn't have enough problems, they also a first-year coach in Eli Drinkwitz, and I've heard good things about him. He is decidedly behind not just the 8-ball. Imagine if the 8-ball weighed 5,000 pounds, in addition to having to take over a program and not having spring football and all of those challenges that he's got from a personnel standpoint. Then they gave him LSU and Alabama on the cross. So thanks a lot. And if that wasn't enough, he's going to be down a dozen players who are out with COVID on Saturday. So they're going to get rolled by Alabama. So all I want to see in this game really is Mac Jones. And I don't know that I'm going to change my opinion very much of him because I saw him last year. I liked him. He made 2 big mistakes in the Auburn game. Other than that, he was fine.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me a little bit of Jake Coker when Coker was a quarterback there. In that, he's good. He's not all world. I thought Bryce Young might give him a run in the pre-camp run-up. Appears that didn't happen. He's going to be a very competent, good quarterback. He's not going to be Tua. He's not going to be Jalen Hurts. He's just going to be a guy. But a guy is all they really need because they've got everything else. So I'm going to watch it for him, but I don't know that I'm going to feel a whole lot different unless he just goes out there and completely throws up on himself, which I would be shocked.
You're a little bit more bullish on Eli coming from App State. He was there for really
1
a year.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and he inherited a hell of a program that Satterfield that put together, and of course he went on to Louisville. I'm with you. I think Alabama coming into the season, they're number 2 in the country. They're preseason favorites, and they return a lot of people. They got people back. They didn't have the opt-outs that say LSU had, and so understandably they come in as the favorites.
Describe Vanderbilt in 3 words to me as they take on Texas A&M in College Station. I got my 3 words. You got 3 words?
I'm no idea what to expect. I don't want to say train wreck. I don't. I mean, they've had so many multiple changes, including I don't even know who's the quarterback.
Here's my 3 words: historically bad offense.
Yes, and they're
historically bad offense.
And they're going to bring this to Texas A&M. A&M's had 2 players opt out recently, but they returned 17 to 22 starters, and this is the year that Jimbo was supposed to have the breakthrough, and I think he would have potentially had a much better record had the schedule existed, but he lost Colorado, and then he got added Florida and Tennessee with the new schedule, so he's got a little bit tougher slate, but no problem this week.
He lost the schedule lottery, save one thing. They gave him the perfect opening game. If you want to get Kellen Mond out there, get his confidence up, get him off to a good start, he's your leader. He has that monster game to start the season off before they got to play Alabama and Florida in back-to-back weeks. This is who you send him. you send him Vanderbilt
No
at
doubt.
home.
No doubt. And then here's the other thing also about A&M. They got away from the physicality of running the football that they were 2 years ago. That's what, of course, they had was Williams was 2 years ago, was a running back. That helped Monty. He was able to play action over that. They didn't do that a year ago. Are they going to get back to being able to run the ball with a little bit more success?
When's the last time you saw a 31-point favorite and the total in the game was 46?
Oh, geez. When's the last time in a COVID with limited football that they put this game on the SEC Alt?
Right.
SEC Alt.
So by definition,
Not even Univision.
Okay, but by definition, doesn't because they've got so many all SEC games this year. Every week, doesn't somebody have to go to the Alt?
I guess somebody's got to go to the Alt. But
Vandy's going to lead the league in the Alt.
I mean, but ESPNU didn't want you. I mean, you couldn't go to...
It was an ACC game, I'm sure.
I mean, Longhorn Network. I mean, surely somebody else other than SEC Alt is going to want you. I mean, SEC Alt. I couldn't tell you where to find SEC Alt.
It's the one right up from SEC.
There you go,
It's
Charlie.
80
you watch too much SEC Network.
82 and 83.
That's
you
great.
Just go up one.
Good.
On
There
thing.
you go.
And Tennessee's at South Carolina. This is the game we'll be watching during post game. The Gamecocks host. The Vols are a favorite, a little bit better than a field goal. We talked about this one a little bit earlier, but I think this has got the most intrigue by far for me in the first week.
Well, no doubt. It's got the biggest storyline. I think Tennessee finished so strong a year ago. Are they for real? Are they a contender in the East? And then again, is Will Muschamp made some strides? So I think that's going to be. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's got the best storyline. I think the most expensive ticket or the cheapest. Let's go to COVID ticket prices. We're going to watch this, but the lowest second market ticket right now, at least on ESPN showing, Kentucky at Auburn. What do you think it is? The lowest to get in the building ticket?
So Auburn did the thing with the tickets where all the students can get in. Okay, so their tickets to the general public are even at I don't know if they're 20 or 25%, but to the general public, because of the amount of students tickets that they allotted, is going to be less.
Fewer? Yeah, they've got the most expensive ticket.
Yeah, so with Kentucky, let me say $125.
Yeah, for $1,111.
Stop it!
You can buy in to see Kentucky play Auburn at 11 a.m. between the hedges during COVID.
You can stay home and watch it on SEC Network. It's not even on the Alt.
$1,111. War Eagle.
Does that sound like a made-up price?
No, it surprised me. Ole Miss, Florida, $98 to get in. LSU State, $48. Cheapest ticket this weekend. $106 for Georgia at Arkansas, $169 up in lovely Columbia, Missouri. You can sit on the grass out there. They still have grass in the end zone. College Station, it's $67 to see a game you could watch on SEC Alt.
If you get that channel.
And Tennessee, South Carolina for $77 at Williams-Brice as they come out to Odyssey, that theme music.
I'm still kind of chuckling at your idea of putting Texas A&M on the Longhorn Network.
Why not? I mean, seriously, it's getting more households.
There's some people in College Station might have a problem with that.
Okay, would you? I want my game to be visible. Right?
SEC
and guess
Alt?
what? Pac-12's not playing. Hey, Jimbo, how about a 10 o'clock start?
I mean, if you get you haven't.
Pac-12's not playing.
You haven't cut the
I
card
stood
that
up
much,
and
right?
watched Kansas get rolled by Coastal Carolina. They started at 9 o'clock, which I think that might have been the smartest move Jeff Long has made. He started at 9 o'clock in week number 1 because he was the only game on, except they sucked, and they sucked mightily, and it really probably didn't help.
Dave Aranda and Les Miles. How's that pregame conversation?
That's this week, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. How's that pregame conference go?
Wow, not a whole lot of words.
Probably
not.
not.
Dave's kind of not a guy of words. Plus, they're probably wearing masks.
We'll take a break, come back, and wrap things up. This is the Tiger Zone presented by LeBear's Baton Rouge, Eagle 98.1.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a Tundra for $7,000 off MSRP. That's right, $7,000 off MSRP. And we have plenty in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Cordell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
$11,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eagle 98.1.
You were getting 4 viewers at Sports Shorts just weeks ago.
Tiger Zone on Eagle 98.1, represented by LeBears Baton Rouge. Head on by Saturday night after the game. 200 more winners for their 800 winner September. This is their 8th anniversary drawing. Be a part of the win for $80,000 is what they've given away in the month of September. They'll start their drawings at 8 o'clock. Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at LeBears. Monday nights, half off margaritas, draft beer, and nachos. Thursday nights, buy a tower of beer. Get a tower of beer half off and 25% off of your lunch Monday through Thursday for active and veteran military and all guests over 50 at the Bon Temps Buffet and the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill. Okay, final thoughts here as we finally kick the football off. If you're LSU, save me the good start thing. But what do you want to come out and this is what we have to establish right from jump.
You got to be the most physical football team on the field. I mean, you look at Mississippi State. Obviously, they're in transition. Whole new coaching staff. Leach really hadn't worked with the defensive side of the football. Different schemes. The one thing about LSU, you have the better. You have obviously the better roster, the better athletes. You need to be the more physical football team.
For me, it's get Miles Brennan comfortable early. Make sure the script, and I'm sure Steve is doing this, make sure the script is the absolute 12 to 15 plays that he likes the best, that no matter what they show him, it's easy stuff to complete. It's not things that are long developing. It's got some balance to it. And all of those things, it gets Miles Brennan into the flow of the game. He's had 3 years worth of anticipation for this moment. And even without 100,000 people in the stands, the heart's still going to be going. Give him the things that he's the absolute best at, the most comfortable with. Get him through the script and get him comfortable. Don't give him the opportunity to make that one big mistake that gets him off and gets in his head. And then on the other side, for me, I'm going to let Mike Leach know very early that if you spread those offensive linemen out that big, I'm bringing people in the defensive middle because I got some speed. I can bring Jacoby Stevens up in a gap. I can bring Jabril Cox up in a gap. I can bring Damone Clark up in a gap. I can do all kind of things. I think that this game, and this is not a shot at Dave Aranda at all, but this fits what Bo Pelini does more so. Aranda, I think, would have played this differently. And what Pelini is going to do is he's going to attack. And that's what I would do early. Try to get Costello off his spot and let them know, hey, listen, the speed of the game is going to be a little bit different here.
I'm with you. And biggest concern, you need to wrap up Kylan Hill.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, I'd add to this, KJ Costello, you are no longer in the Pac-12. This is not flag football. We're going to hit you and put you on your ass.
The band, I am told, will perform.
Great.
But just in the stands. They're not going to be on the field. We know that, okay? But there is a little I asked, are they going to do pregame, okay? There is a portion. I researched this just for you. I mean, you're acting like this is not a big deal for you.
Well,
I know. They're going to do a version of pregame. They're going to do a little – it's going to be different because they're not going to be on the field.
Right.
But, you know, the cheer staff, Mike the Tiger, the band, they're going to be socially distanced. It's going to be about half the band in the north end zone. I thought you'd be happy to hear that.
I'm excited. I really don't know what to expect, Charlie. I haven't done my prep. I've heard today from you that I'm in an 8x8 box on the sideline. I don't know about that.
I made that up.
I'm not allowed in the locker room. I don't know what I'm going to do at half dog. If I've said halftime if I'm going to get a hot dog. I'm already confused with that. I'm going to be out of my routine. I might actually be out where I could see the band. Am I going to get something that's prepackaged? Am I going to bring a Dasani water? I mean, I have a lot of prep. And for a Wednesday night, I'm not ready for the SEC opener on Saturday. I'm not there yet.
Maybe you could download Candy Crush on your phone.
What's that?
It's a game.
Okay.
It might be a lot of fun.
Hey, we're a sandwich show. Ogeron, it used to be Ogeron, then us. We're like UTEP, right? You get Ogeron, us, and then Playboy Marty.
Dear Mr. Fantasy, straight ahead on YouTube. For the whole crew here, let's see. We got Brittany, we got Abby, we got Joe Rod, we got Bo, we got Rick, you, and me, and I will turn it over to the guys for Dear Mr. Fantasy on YouTube. Thanks to everybody for participating. Remember, 9:30 start for Eagle 98.1 game day this Saturday. This has been the Tiger Zone presented by LeBears on Eagle 98.1.